this is People of the State of Michigan versus LaCrease Nathan, docket number 20-335FH. And this matter was set for a pretrial conference this morning. And Mr. Marks, you've just finished a consultation privately with your client. And as I understand it, this will be a plea, is that correct?
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court. That is correct. I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Stitt Nathan, and based on the information that I gave him that I had with the court in APA Allen, he's willing to plead guilty as far as to the count 1 of stolen property, RNC of a motor vehicle.
Okay, and I will place what I said on the record at the appropriate point, but I think I should say that. So, Mr. Stitt Nathan, I have my last address for you on Euclid Place. Is that still accurate, or?
Yes.
It is, okay. And how far did you go in school?
I got my GED.
Very good. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Stitt Nathan, you have the right to an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Marks, and Mr. Marks has indicated this is a plea to count 1 on docket number 20-335FH. And Ms. Allen, would you read that, please?
In the People of the State of Michigan versus LaCrease Stitt Nathan, file 20-335-FH, State of Michigan, County of Ingham. In the name of the people of the State of Michigan, the prosecuting attorney for this county appears before the court and informs the court that on or about May 14th, 2020, at Euclid and Hosmer, City of Lansing, Ingham County, the defendant did in count 1 buy, receive, possess, conceal, or aid in the concealment of a Saturn Vue, a stolen motor vehicle, knowing or having reason to know or believe that the motor vehicle was stolen, embezzled, or converted contrary to Michigan law. This is a felony punishable by up to 5 years and or $10,000, or 3 times the value of the motor vehicle, whichever is greater. To impose the fine of 3 times the value, the defendant must admit the amount, or it must be determined by the trier of fact at trial. The court may order reimbursement to state or local government for expenses incurred in relation to the incident, including but not limited to expenses for emergency response and prosecution, and was committed against the peace and dignity of the State of Michigan.
Mr. Stitt Nathan, you're being charged here with receiving and concealing a stolen motor vehicle. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Have you had enough time to talk about this charge with your attorney?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about what we're doing?
No.
How do you want to plead?
Guilty.
If your plea of guilty is accepted by this court, it means you won't have a trial of any kind, and you'll be giving up the rights that go along with a trial. That includes the right to be tried by a jury, or if you didn't want a jury, trial by judge, the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, the right to require the prosecutor to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the trial and to be able to cross-examine them, the right to have this court order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the trial, the right to remain silent at the trial and not to have your silence used against you, or the right to testify at the trial if you wanted to testify. Also, any appeal of your case would, after a plea, would have to be by permission of the higher court. It's not an automatic right. And also, you cannot appeal issues when you plead guilty that would have been appealable after a trial. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
Also, if I accept your plea, it means you can't come back later on and try to say that the plea was the result of some promise or threat that no one told me about today. Do you understand that?
Yes.
It also means you cannot come back later on and try to say that it really wasn't your own choice to plead guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask the prosecutor for a plea agreement in a moment, but I did have a discussion, and I'm not sure if this qualifies as a Cobb's agreement or not, but I think it's better to place it on the record. I had this discussion with the prosecutor and Mr. Marks. Mr. Stitt Nathan, you're currently on YTA probation to me. You went to what's known as YTA prison for 18 months on that. If you plead guilty on this case, it would constitute a violation, a probation violation on that previous case. And I've indicated that I'm not interested in sending you to regular prison, as we might call it, or any further sanction in that file, that what I would do is terminate your probation, revoke it, revoke the YTA status, and I would proceed with whatever sanction is appropriate and called for in this new case. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay, now is there a plea agreement, Ms. Allen?
There is, Your Honor. The defendant is pleading guilty to the charge on this file, and there is a sentence agreement pursuant to People v. Killebrew that his upfront jail is to not exceed 9 months.
And isn't there another file? 20, or no, wait a minute, pardon me, that's not.
Nope.
Okay, is that a full and complete statement, Mr. Marks?
That's an accurate statement, Your Honor.
And Mr. Stitt Nathan, is that your understanding of the agreement as well?
Yes.
Okay, now in addition to what I've already indicated I'm going to do, there's an agreement about your sentence, and that is that it would be no more than 9 months. If for some reason on that part that I decided that I would give you more than that by the time of sentencing, I would let you know before I sentenced you, and I'd give you a chance to take back your plea and start over if you wanted to. You understand all that?
Yes.
Has anyone promised you anything else that hasn't been said here right now in order to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anyone used any threats to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Is this your own choice?
Yes.
And are you doing it because you believe you are in fact guilty of this offense?
Yes.
Okay, we're talking about the RNC of a motor vehicle. Tell me what you did on or about May 14th of this year.
I did receive the vehicle knowing it was stolen.
Okay, and that was a Saturn View,
Yes.
and you were in possession of it knowing that it was stolen.
Yes.
And that was in the area of Euclid and Hosmer in Lansing, Ingham County, correct?
Yes.
Has the court complied with MCR 6.302, Mr. Marks?
The court has, Your Honor.
Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than those already placed on the record, Mr. Marks?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Allen?
No, Your Honor.
The court finds the plea is understandingly and voluntarily made without undue influence, threats, or promises of leniency. It is an accurate plea. It's supported by the testimony. The plea is accepted, and sentencing date is August 17th at 2:30. Is that okay for you, Mr. Marks?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, then Mr. Stitt Nathan, you'll either be here in person or we'll be doing it remotely, but that will be your sentencing date. You'll be contacted by the probation department. They're going to interview you remotely for the report that they'll use for sentencing. Any questions?
No.
Okay, then you're all set, and you can tell them there at the jail that you're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.